in. This is Shalaya with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today we are going over our website overview class on the new command websites. So today we are going to cover the new website platform that just recently launched. For this class, we will start with the basics of the website and go over how to customize some of those default information and those pages that are being loaded onto the websites upon launching. So to get started, you do want to log into the command platform, and that's going to be at agent.kw.com. If you have by chance not launched your new websites yet, you do want to be sure before you launch those that you follow up on our YouTube channel and review our tip videos and information on how to preserve your website content before you switch over. And if you have any trouble with that, you can always reach out to us by email as well, and we are happy to take a look and assist. So before we dive into command here, I'm first going to show you this other tab I have open up here. So this is going to be our Scott Leroy Marketing website. So if you ever have trouble accessing this, you can log into our site with your Market Center number. So we're going to go in here and we're going to hover over Agent Resources. And we're going to go down to New KW Agent Websites. So on this page, we have many resources based around the newly launched websites. Right at the top of this page here, you're going to see our live training calendar, which if you want to add this to your Google Calendar, you can do so by clicking the Google Calendar button here. Next, under that, we have a link directly to our YouTube playlist that is based around the websites. And then we also have some of those tip videos linked here for easier access. So if you have not yet launched your site, you can find those resources here, what to do before launching. And then if we scroll further down here, we have a section of what to do once you have launched your new website. So just some short tip videos on some items that we are going to cover today if you ever need to go back and reference any of this information. And then under that, we have some links to some helpful KW provided articles based around the new websites. So this is a great resource to keep saved and bookmarked as you're getting familiar with the sites. If you need to look up a tip video or if you get stuck on something, this is definitely a great resource to have. So I will go ahead and drop a link to this in the chat box for you here. So you can go ahead and grab that and save it. The other thing that I will show you is this other tab I have open here. So this is going to be all of the KW provided articles based around the new KW sites. So if you are on a team, there is a section here at the top for the team sites. And then down below that is all of the articles based on the websites here. So they have a lot of articles available to help walk you through any areas of the new sites as you're getting familiar with them. So I'll also drop a link to this one as well. So you can grab and save that. So we're going to go ahead and jump back over to our command tab now. So if you have been with KW previously before the new sites launched, you may remember that any custom content added to the websites or any custom pages had to be adjusted manually, as such as any name changes, your headshot photo, your bio, or any other information when making changes or updates. Now with the new command sites, this information is updating automatically with your marketing profile. So because of this, you do want to make sure that your marketing profile is always current and up to date and in good standing, as this information is always going to feed over to your new site 100%. So let's go ahead and jump into our marketing profile first and go over how to update that information when needed. So we're going to get to our marketing profile by clicking on our name in the top right corner. And we're going to go down to settings. Once we're in settings, we're going to go to the left-hand side and go under Connect Settings and then Marketing Profile here. So starting from the top down, so in the top right, you're going to see this green toggle. This says use my information to brand my agent site. This is what is branding your website and your marketing to you as the agent. So you always want to make sure that this is toggled on and showing green, unless you want to hide your marketing from the public. Next, you have your headshot photo. You do want to be sure this is cropped down to a perfect square. If your photo looks distorted in this circle, that is how it's going to show up on your marketing. So you do need to crop that down. If you have any trouble cropping or uploading your headshot photo, you can email that over to us and we can get that updated for you. Next, we have a spot for a team logo. If you are not on a team, you can put a placeholder logo here, such as a generic KW logo like you see here, or maybe a realtor designation logo, whatever you prefer. The reason we recommend that is some of your marketing materials are automatically going to pull that logo in. So if you don't have an image uploaded here, it can show up as a broken image link. Under that, you have your contact details. So we do recommend being sure that your name matches your name on your license for compliance purposes. And then you have a spot for your license number, your team name if you are on a team. And then you have an option for your job title. If you have a slogan that you use for your business, that can go here. And then you have a spot for your designations here. Most likely for your designation spot, you're going to see realtor listed here. Just like that. And then if you're not sure how to get that symbol at the end, if you hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and then type 0174, that's going to give you that symbol there for you. Next, under that, you have the option to add in military affiliations. So if you are affiliated with the military, you can add that to your profile here. So you'll first select your affiliation type. And then once you choose from that list there, you are then going to choose the branch that you are affiliated with. And then if you add that in, just be sure that you click on the add button here. Otherwise, it's not going to save those changes in your profile. Next below that, you have your bio. So the way your bio looks in this box in your marketing profile is how it is going to show up on your website in your marketing. So for example, if you have line breaks in between your paragraphs like you see here, this is where you want to be sure those are added in, as again, your website is going to automatically pull from this marketing profile. So however it looks in this box is how it's going to show up on your website. Under that is going to be your contact information. So your mobile phone number, your office phone number. If by chance you are in another country, you can change the country code by clicking the drop down here. And then you have your email. So this will most likely be your KW email. However, if you do have another business email that you are using, you can use that. You are not required to have your KW email in here. And then your website URL. So just like the email, this will most likely be your kw.com URL, unless you are using a custom domain for your site. Under that is going to be your market center information. We do recommend being sure this is always up to date. So if by chance you have transferred market centers or your market center has relocated, always be sure that this is reflecting the correct address and information here. Next, going down, we have our compliance items down here. So if you have any legal footer text that is required through your market center, you can add that here. And then under that, you have the option to add legal footer links. So some market centers and locations do require links within the legal footers for compliance. So this is where you can add those in there, your link title in the first box, and then the URL to your form in the second box. To delete these, you can simply click on the red trash can icon all the way to the right, and that will remove it from your profile there. Next, under that, you have legal footer images. These are very small images. They're just little thumbnail size, so you probably don't want to use this for any like marketing or advertising. However, if you want to add in maybe extra designation logos or things like that, that might be useful there. Next, under that, you have your social media links. So if you have your social media business pages set up, this is where you can add the links to that. You have the option for your Facebook page, your Twitter if you have one, Instagram, if you have a YouTube channel, as well as your LinkedIn profile. And then down at the bottom, you're going to see an option for Google Analytics ID. However, this is no longer relevant with the new websites, as this has now moved to the back end of the sites, which I will show you later on in this class. So once you finish making your changes, be sure to click on that save button in the bottom left, and that's going to refresh the page and let you know that your profile was saved. So now that we have gone through our marketing profile, we can go ahead and jump into our consumer tab. So that's going to be the last icon on the left-hand side here. If you are still getting familiar with these icons here, if you click on the red KW in the top left, that's going to bring out a description of each icon. So if you're still not sure what each of these stand for, that can be super helpful while you're getting used to the platform. So we're going to go ahead and click into consumer. So now that we are in our consumer tab, a couple things that I will go over, as I know this looks a bit different from the old site if you were already with KW and you had the old legacy websites. So basically the consumer tab now replaces that old site and app settings link. So that used to be up in the right corner of the consumer page. So now this is all on this main page here. So your website domain URL can be changed here. Your app URL can be found here. So if you do need to share your app link, you can simply copy it here and paste that wherever you need to. You still have your preferences to show or hide the Keller Mortgage items from your mobile app. And then you have the option to set your forced registration. So if you do want to require that your clients have to register on your website after viewing so many properties, you can set that here. So you have the option for unrestricted, so they will not be required to register. You can set it to a maximum of 10 properties, or you can set it to a maximum of 2 properties. You can also set it to no property viewing. However, we would not typically recommend this, as they will not be able to view any properties on your website unless they register. Also be sure that each of these sections have their own Save Changes button. So if you do make any changes, make sure you are clicking on the correct button to save those to make sure you are not losing any of your updates here. So one other thing that I will mention before we jump into the back end of the website here is at the top, if you were a part of the legacy websites, you may remember that you had a tab at the top for landing pages. That is no longer going to be within your consumer tab. However, you do now have the option to create landing pages with the new websites. So it is not gone. It's just housed within the website dashboard. So now let's go ahead and click on the Edit My Website button here in the center. And that's going to take us to the back end of our website. So this is going to be our website dashboard here. So as far as today's coverage, we are just going to kind of work our way down the edit your website portion right over here. So these are going to be our default pages that we get automatically upon launching our new website. So we're going to go through these in order of how they're listed here, just to avoid any back and forth or any confusion. Now, your page titles may look a little different than what you see on ours because these can be customized based on what you are titling your pages as you're editing your website. So if your page names don't exactly match ours, that's okay. It's completely normal. So you don't need to worry about that. So each of these pages here are the default pages for your newly launched website. So we have our blog list page, which is going to list the blog on your site. So every agent upon launching the new website is automatically going to get a 4-part buyer's blog. And you also have the option to add additional custom blog posts to your website. Next is going to be about the agent. So this is going to be your About Me page. This is going to pull all of your information from your marketing profile. And then we have our homepage. So our homepage will be kind of similar to the old website where it's going to have those hero images, your IDX search, and then you're going to have your featured listings. And then now you also have the option to have your featured testimonials on your homepage, as well as your blogs. So we're going to go ahead and start jumping into these pages here. However, before we jump into these default pages, I'm going to show you how to generate the new open house sign-in page. So before you had to create a separate landing page for each of your listings if you wanted to create a open house sign-in sheet. Now you can generate those right from your listing page on your website. So I'm going to go ahead and click into our website here. So when you need to generate your open house sign-in sheet, you can either search for the listing by typing in the IDX search here, or if you have your listing saved under your featured listings, you can simply come down here and click on it here. So I'm just going to click on a listing in our featured listings list here. So that's going to bring up the MLS details right on our website here. So once this page loads, what we want to do to generate the open house sign-in sheet is we want to go to the top search bar up here, and we want to click to the end of this URL. And then we are going to type /open house with no spaces there. So we're going to add that right to the end of this URL here. And then we're going to go ahead and hit enter, and that's going to refresh this page for us. So once that reloads, that's going to give us our open house sign-in sheet. So that automatically updated the URL up here. So you can then go up here and copy this URL if you want to save it to whether create a QR code or share it with anyone. You can grab that link there. Or you can use this as a revolving open house sign-in sheet on your device during your open house, whether you have it set up on a tablet or a laptop, whatever device you prefer to use for your sign-in sheets. Because again, this form is completely revolving. So once you collect someone's information, it's going to refresh the form. So then you can collect the next person's information. So you don't have to refresh the page every single time you need to collect a sign-in. So we'll go ahead and fill out this form so you can see what this looks like here. So it is going to require all of the information listed. So we have first name, last name, and email. And then phone number. And then there is also a checkbox here. This is checking that they approve to opt in to receive any emails, phone calls, text messaging, any kind of communication correspondence from you. So once that is all filled out and then they click on submit, that's going to give them a preview of your agent profile here. So this page is going to be branded to you. And then it's also going to give them a QR code to scan to view the MLS listing for this property. And this is going to take them right to the listing on your website. So again, everything is going to stay completely branded to you. And then this is also going to capture them as a new lead in your contact database. So once you have finished capturing that information and they have scanned that QR code and you're ready to move on to the next one, you can click on the arrow in the top left here, or back to sign in. There we go. Out the way at the top, there's that back to sign in button. That's going to refresh your open house sign in here. And then you are ready to capture the next person's contact information. So again, this is a revolving form. You can have this open for the entire duration of your open house and utilize this one page for your sign-ins. So now we'll go ahead and head back to our website dashboard over here. And we're going to start going through our sites here. So our first default page here is our blog list page. So we'll go ahead and click into that. And if yours is in a different order or looks different, that's completely normal. Don't worry about it. You can just follow along as we go through each page. So for the blog list page, you do have the option to either display or hide your blog if you would like to. You can change the title if you would like. So it does have that default text in there, or you can type in your own custom text. You can add a description, which is going to show up under the title. And then you have your blog posts listed here. So again, every newly launched site is automatically getting that 4-part homebuyers blog. And then you have the option to create your own custom blogs as well. So if you click on the little plus symbol here, that will give you the option to add additional blogs. So if you have already created a custom blog post, you can add that in from the list here. Or if you want to create a new blog post, you can do that by clicking the new button here in the bottom left of this form. So we'll go ahead and click off of that. If you want to remove blog posts, you can do that by clicking the red line next to the blog you want to remove. And that will remove it from the page. And then whenever you make any changes to your pages, always be sure that you click on the save button in the top right corner to save those changes. So now we're going to go back to the dashboard. So we can either click on the return to dashboard button in the saved banner, or we can click on the KW logo in the top left. Either of those are going to take us back to our dashboard. So next under the blog list page is going to be our About the Agent page. So this is very similar to the About Me page that was on the old website. However, again, this is going to pull completely from your marketing profile. So if you need to make changes to this page at any time, you want to be sure you're updating that in your marketing profile. And also note that any changes made to your marketing profile can take up to 30 minutes to an hour to reflect on your website. So if you do update your photo or your bio or anything like that, and you don't see that reflecting on your website right away, it may just need some more time for those updates to sync over to your website. So while we cannot edit these sections on the back end here, we do have a drop down for each section. So the reason for that is because you have the option to display or hide any of these items from your page. So if you wanted to not have a bio on your About Me page, you have the option to hide that. If you want to hide your agent profile completely, you can do so. So you have the option to hide or display any of these items that are defaulted here. Aside from that, at the bottom, you now have the option to add preferred vendors to your page. So these are going to show up under your About Me page, right under your agent profile here. So for the preferred vendors, this is being done through a third party that KW has partnered with called Move Easy. And you'll see that in the description here as well. Vendor lists are powered by Move Easy. Now to add preferred vendors to your site, you're going to click this link that is linked under the word link. So if we click on that, this should open up a new tab for us. So once that loads, this is where we can add our preferred vendors to our site. So to add a new vendor, you're going to go to the top right and click this Add Vendor button here. So you're going to add in the vendor name. If they have a website, you can add their website here. However, this is not required. If you have a point of contact name, you can add that here. Your vendor's email address, and then their phone number, which the phone number is required. And then you have a drop down to select your vendor type. So you can start typing if you want an easier way to search here, or you can simply scroll through this drop down to find your vendor type from the list. And then you can add in the counties that your vendor services. And you can also add in your vendor's logo here. So once you have that filled out, you can click on the Add Vendor button, and that's going to add them to your preferred vendor list on your About Me page on your website. If you ever get stuck on this or need more information, there is a helpful article provided by KW based on the preferred vendors. And I'll go ahead and drop a link to that in the chat box for you so you can save that as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump back over to our website here. So just like our blog list page, if we make any changes to this page, we do want to make sure that we click on the save button in the top right. And then we're going to get that green banner letting us know that it was saved. You'll also see all the way to the right that we have a list of revisions. So this keeps track of any revisions, any changes that you are making to your website pages. So if you ever need to go back and preview a previous version of your page, or if you want to revert back to a previous version, this keeps track of every single update that you make on the page. So that's super helpful if you maybe make a mistake on something or you update something and you realize you're not ready to update that yet. You can easily revert back to your previous changes by clicking through your revisions here. So we're going to go ahead and head back to our dashboard. So next is going to be our home page. So we're going to click into our home page here. Now it looks like there was some changes being done in here, as you'll see this yellow banner at the top that it restored work in progress. So what this banner means is that the tab was closed or it was clicked out of before the save button was clicked. So it does save any changes that you make until you either save your page or until you select the clear changes option here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit clear changes and just clear this out here. And that's going to refresh that page for us. So we have our middle preview here. So here is our new home page. So we still have those hero images that slideshow through at the top here, right behind our IDX search here. Under that, we still have featured listings. However, it is a little bit different with the new website, so we'll go over that. Scrolling down in this preview, we now have our featured testimonials on our homepage. So on the old websites, if you did have the old site, you may remember that the testimonials had to be manually added on a new website page. So now those will be on the home page of your site here. And then down below that is going to be our blog. So this is going to be very similar to that blog list page. However, this is going to be more of a preview, as this is only going to show 4 blogs at a time. And then it's going to have this read more button at the bottom, which is then going to redirect to your blog list page. So if you do get into creating custom blogs and you have a bunch of blogs on your site, those will all be listed on the blog page rather than on the home page. So we're going to go ahead and click through each of these sections here. So we're going to start with section 1. So this is going to be our hero images, our title. So if you do have custom hero images that you are using, you can add those in here. You can add a new image by clicking the Add Image button here. And then you want to click on the box here. If you have already uploaded your images, you can select them from the list here. Or if you still need to upload your image, you can click on the New Image button in the bottom left of this pop-up box. Or you can also click on the Uploads File link here instead of clicking that Add Image button there. So that's going to give you the option to upload your images here. If you are not using custom hero images, the website does have default images that it uses. So you'll see those here. And those do stay in the background of the site. So if you do add custom hero images, those then go into hiding from your page. However, they are still available there. The reason for that is if you decide that you want to remove your custom hero images, then the default images are going to become active again, just to make sure that you don't ever have a blank slate here on your website. If you do want to change this title here, you can do so with the title box here at the top. So we're going to go ahead and click on this and bring that back up. And now we're going to click into featured listings, which is going to be our section 2 here. So for featured listings, you have a couple different options here. So you have the option for dynamic, which is the new option for featured listings, or you have the option for basic. So the difference between that is the dynamic allows you to select a center point location and then choose the number of listings that you want to display, as well as the mile radius that you want to show from that center point. So that's going to automatically pull in featured listings to your website based on the criteria that you're setting here. Whereas if you switch to the basic option, this is going to be very similar to the old website where you have to go in and manually add your featured listings for those to show on your website. So if you would prefer to update that manually, you can certainly switch this to the basic option, or you can set your dynamic criteria to automatically pull listings in for you. You do also have the option to manually add listings to the dynamic option. So you can add those here. So if you do want to make sure that your own personal listings are showing up on your featured listings, you can add those manually. And then those are going to show up first on the list. So you'll see here, it shows 3 at a time in this preview with these navigation arrows to click through. So if you manually add your personal listings, those are going to be the first ones that show up on your page here. You don't have to worry about duplicates. So if you do manually add your listing, but your listing falls under the criteria that you're setting in here, you don't have to worry about that duplicating in your list. It's only going to show your manually added one first on your list here. So you also have the option to set additional filters for your featured listings. So you have the option to choose from listing categories, which you can select multiple at a time if you would like to. Just keep in mind that not all MLS boards allow for sold properties to show or pending listings to show. So you may not be able to find certain listings based on what your local MLS board allows. So same for listing status. You can select multiple, however, the listings that pull in are going to be based on your MLS board permissions. Next, you have property types. So you can select multiple property types, or if you only want to show houses, you can select just one. You can add in minimum and maximum criteria for bedrooms and bathrooms, as well as home size and lot size, as well as a price range. So if you only want to show featured listings within a certain price range, you can set those price limits in here. And then you also have the option to add in keywords here. So you'll see we have added keywords for pool and garage. So what that means is this is only going to pull in listings that have a pool or a garage with them. You can remove keywords by clicking the red line here. And you can add additional keywords by clicking the plus symbol and adding your words in here. So that's going to be our featured listings there. So I'm going to just scroll up and minimize this to get it out of the way. And then we're going to move down to featured testimonials. So I'll go ahead and scroll down in the preview here so you can see those. So if you do not want to show testimonials on your page, you do have the option to hide this if you would like to. You can change the title if you would like, otherwise it just defaults to featured testimonials. You can put in a custom description if you would like to. The description is going to show up under that title there. And then down below that is where you are going to add in your testimonials. So if you have captured testimonials from your new website already, you can add those in by clicking the plus button here. And then you should be able to see those in the recently updated list here. Or if you have testimonials from your old website or testimonials from another platform, such as maybe Google reviews or your Zillow reviews that you want to add in, you can manually add in testimonials as well. So if we click on the Create New button here at the top here, that's going to bring us up to the form to create our custom testimonial. So if you do want to pull those in from another platform, you can certainly go through and enter those to your website. So you're going to have your star rating, your testimonial, your client information as far as their first name and last name, the client sent date, as well as your client's location. And then you have a toggle for recommended. Now, as far as requirements to submit this form, the only items that are required are the star rating, the testimonial text, the client's name, and the client sent date. So the location and the rest of this down below here are not required. They are fully optional. And then once you fill this form in, you will click on the Publish button in the top right up here. And then when you go back, you will then be able to select that newly added testimonial from the list here under your recently updated. So this is going to pull right from the client name that's entered in the first name and last name box. So that makes it easier to sort through those testimonials there. If you want to remove testimonials from your site, you can do so by clicking the red line next to the testimonial. You can also manually reorder these. So if you want them to show up in a different order, you can click here where these arrow and 3 lines are, and you can click and drag to change the order of how your testimonials are showing on your site. So if you did have the old KW site, you may remember that you could only show up to 12 testimonials on your site. Now with the new sites, you'll see you now have the option to show up to 20. So you do have a higher range there if you do have more testimonials to add to your site. You can also set filter options here if you want to set filters on these. Now, if you did have testimonials captured on your old KW site before you launched your new site, those are not going to automatically pull over to your new site. However, you can manually add those through the form that I just showed you. And if you aren't sure where to locate those original testimonials, if we go back over to Command to our Consumer tab here, you're going to see at the top there's a button for testimonials here. So this one is going to be empty here because there were no testimonials captured on the old site for this account. However, if you did capture testimonials on your old website, you should be able to see those listed here. So you can simply go in and copy and paste that information to that new testimonial form on the website, and you can add those to your site manually. So we're going to go ahead and click back over to our website here. And we're going to go ahead and minimize this testimonial section. And then last we have our blog section. So again, this is very similar to the blog list page that we went over at the beginning. You do have the option to hide this from your home page if you would prefer to hide that and only have your blog page linked at the top of your website. You can change the title if you would like to. So for example, if you do start adding your own custom blogs, you may want this to just say blog or something different rather than just buyer's guide here. And then you can also add in a custom description if you would like to. Otherwise, they do have this default description here for you. Down below that is where our blog posts are going to be. So again, on the home page, you can only show up to 4. However, the rest of your blogs will be listed under your blog list page. If you want to change the order of the blogs on your page, so for example, if you do start adding your own custom blogs and you want those to show up on your homepage rather than this buyer's guide, you can reorder these the same way you can your testimonials by just clicking and dragging that around here. You can also remove these buyer's guide blogs if you prefer to just use your own custom blogs. So you can click on these red lines to remove them. And then again, to add additional ones, you can just click that plus symbol there and add in custom blogs that you have already created, or you can create a new one by clicking the new button here. So that is going to be our home page here. So again, if you make any changes, be sure that you are clicking that save button in the top right. Oh, and this says we have an error on here. Oh, because we didn't add an image to that hero image block. So I'm just going to delete that there and click save again. And that should save our page for us. So we're going to go ahead and go back over to our dashboard. So the other thing that you will see under the edit your website section is going to be your contact form. So I'm going to go ahead and click into that. So if you remember from the old website platform, your contact form was at the bottom of your page. So this is very similar to that. However, it does look a bit nicer and cleaner, as you can see here. So you'll see on the left side that we don't have a lot of editing options to confuse us with. We do have the option to change the title here, which shows up at the top of the contact form here. And then you also have the option to add or adjust the opt-in language. So if you do need to make any changes to your opt-in language or to your contact title, you can do that in here. And once again, if you make any changes, be sure that you click on that save button up here. So we're going to go ahead and head back to our dashboard again. So the other thing I'm going to go ahead and show you here is I'm going to go ahead and click on the 3 lines in the top right. That's going to be a menu here. And we're going to click on the drop down next to admin. And we're going to go into organization site. So that's going to take us to the back end of our website. So a couple things I will touch on here is you do have the option to change the theme of your site. So they have a couple options to choose from. You have the default theme, or you have the option for a slate dark theme or a slate light theme. So you can kind of switch between each of those and see which one you like for your site if you prefer to choose one of those other themes available. And then if we scroll down here, here is where our Google Analytics is now placed. So if you do have Google Analytics set up or you want to set that up, this is where you are going to put that tracking code in rather than that spot on the marketing profile that we went over at the beginning of class. So just like everything else, if you make any changes here, whether you change the theme or you add in your analytics tracking ID, be sure that you click on that save button on the top right. And then we're going to go ahead and head back to our dashboard again. So before we wrap this up today, let's go ahead and take a look at what our live website looks like. So again, we're going to get to our website by clicking on the link here at the top. So here at the top, we are going to have our hero images and our IDX search up here. We have our featured listings here. We can click through those with these arrows. Down below that is going to be our featured testimonials here. And then down below that is going to be our blog section here. And then all the way at the bottom of the page is going to be our contact form. So let's go ahead and click into our About Me page. So once again, all of this information is going to pull right from your marketing profile. So your contact information, your email, your website, your social media links here, all of this is pulling from your marketing profile. So if any of this is incorrect or needs to be updated, you want to go to the back end of your marketing profile to update that. Down below that is going to be our details here, and then our bio here. And then we have our preferred vendors down here. And then our contact form under that. Next is our search properties page. So this is very similar to the old website. However, it just looks a bit cleaner. So you can still search by address, location, by schools. All those search options that you had on the old site are still the same. All of this is automatically pulling from the MLS. Next, you have your blog list page. So again, if you do add custom blogs and you have more than those initial 4 blogs, this is where all of your blogs are going to be listed here. Next to that, we have this more drop down. So this is where your leave a review page is. So to capture those testimonials, this is that form for that. All of these items are required. So if your clients are having trouble submitting the form, it may be that they are missing a section on the form and they just need to finish filling that out. Once you start adding additional pages to your website, those will be listed under this more option as well, which we do have a class next Tuesday on customizing your website, which will go over adding some additional pages to your website. So if you want to add some more pages, you can tune into that next week. And then we have the login button over here. So what's great about this is even though you have launched a new website, if your clients had already registered on your old site, their login will carry over to the new site, so they are not going to lose any of their saved collections, anything that was saved within their account. All of that will carry right over when you launch your website. The last thing I will note here is at the top, we have this little drop down with the globe here. So you have the option for different languages. So if your clients do speak another language, they can change the language on your website here. And that's automatically going to update to that preferred language here. So that about wraps us up for today. Thank you guys for joining. If you do run into any trouble with your site or have any questions, you can reach out to us anytime at support@scottleroymarketing.com. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and thank you for jumping in.